Hello. Check the audio. Check 1 2. Good. Right. Let's carry on with this anchor build. So I guess let's take a look at what we've got right now, which is this. Kind of got things animating in, some kind of animations and things like that happening as we scroll down the page. If you didn't tune in Monday, then you will know that we are, or you wouldn't know rather, that we are kind of rebuilding this page, making it a bit more exciting, making it a bit more interesting, basically, and kind of correcting a few SEO things on it, just for a bit of fun, just to kind of demonstrate how we're building out kind of what we call experiential website. So as you can see, it's a very flat website, and kind of not a lot going on. So today I think I'm going to focus on building out this form area. Now again, if you didn't follow along on Monday, this has already been built. This website has already been built, and I'm kind of rebuilding it just to kind of take you guys through it and take you through what the thought process is and kind of what we do, and kind of demonstrating Pinegrow as well, because Pinegrow, if you don't know, is a no-code tool, and it helps us build websites, static websites, as well as WordPress websites very, very quickly, and it enables us to add animations and interactions very, very easily. It's kind of my preferred tool when building out static websites. So with all that being said, let's take a look at Pinegrow. I think we had issues with the last stream around the mouse, not seeing the mouse. So if I do display capture, screen, and that looks kind of good. Okay. So there's my screen. Can still see me. Let's move that out of the way. So now I think we can see my mouse, which is kind of cool. Let's resize this a sec. So we can see the stylings and things. This one. I never know how to do this in such a way where I can just scale it with some handles or whatever, but to me it looks a little bit stretched. Let's do that. That's fine. Cool. So yeah, like I say, we're going to focus on building out this with a bit of JavaScript, and kind of finishing off the rest of these components, because they're kind of a repeat of what we did in the last session. So there's a slider here. I can see they've added another slider here, but we're going to avoid that completely. But ultimately, these other ones are going to be a repetition of what we did kind of last time. So let's jump right into this. I have all my images. I have everything kind of laid out already. So let's just jump into it, I guess. So here's Pinegrow. Got a section, 2 options, And just flicking back to this, it's kind of like, okay, so it's the next one below, kind of the next one below the one we've already created, so between these two. Where's our section? Bottom. Okay. So again, I went through this in the last session, but I'm going to be trying to create the HTML that's needed. I'm probably going to have to drag this off screen, to be fair. Create the HTML that's needed first, and then go into the styling, because it just gets too confusing then. So what we have is a H2 at the top there. We have, and let's try and break this tab system down a little bit. So probably going to have obviously a wrapping div or something to encapsulate the whole thing. There's going to be 3 kind of tabs that are buttons that we're going to be clicking, and they're going to go through 3 bodies, because within each of these bodies we've got these colors that we need to account for. Now we're not going to go into, you know, building out all these these sort of form elements and things like that, but it'd be nice to just introduce a bit of fun, a bit of interaction with regards to this kind of tab system, because as you can see it's quite boring, quite dull. So we've got a wrapping div, we've got 3 buttons, and then we've got 3 separate bodies which will contain pretty much an identical thing here, just changing the images and changing the price there of them, so, and the colors. So let's see how we get on with that. So let's create our tab system. Now probably going to want to encapsulate the 3 buttons, so let's add another div there. Buttons. Put that inside there, and then we want to insert some buttons. So interactive elements, nope, forms, button 3. Here we go. Cool. Now in each of these buttons we've obviously got some text, but we've also got some images. So let's get those images in. I think the best way to do that would be in code. And the beauty of Pinegrow is we actually have code. So our first one is anchor strong. Anchor 511 charger, anchor 521 charger. They've got the same labels for each of one of these things, which is kind of confusing. Maybe I think they've just renamed them. Yeah. Just confused me for a second there. Cool. And then let's add an image. That's cool. Nipping back into Pinegrow, so we can just use the interface here. That one. Yeah, and just use the actual image that we use below. Blue. And let's about, let's try 100. Looks about right. And again, we went through last time of providing WebP versions of these images, but we'll do that kind of at the end, so that we get all the styling sorted first. So this is the dual one. Nano. So it's not that one. We've got them the wrong way around, so that one's correct, and then this one is the nano. No, it's not the nano, it's plug. Cool, and then the third one is just a normal one. The white one. Is it nano white? I think that's it. Whatever. Whatever. It looks different. Yeah, looks a bit different. It's got the anchor there. Cool. So we have our buttons now. And now we kind of want to build out the bodies, which there's going to be 3 of these. So that's the tabs, and then we want the tabs body. On the left side it's the image, on the right side it's a form, so this will be a column. So we'll insert 2 divs, and this one will have an image in it. And double check. Blue. Cool, that's the one. And this one will have a form in it. Now, we've got this, drag this up. So you've got this here. Technically this could be a field set. Now, we're just going to make it a header. Or a heading rather, which would be H3. And we have the price, which I think will just be a paragraph. We have some radio buttons here. These would be radio buttons because you can only select one of them, so we might as well use the radio buttons to do that. Probably going to need something to wrap the radio buttons, and then I'm trying to think in my head now. Then you're probably going to need a we need a label, we need the input, and we need the label. It's just whether we're I'll wrap those in a div just to give us most flexibility. So here's our div, we'll insert form, input, and then label, but we're going to hide the label. So that's that. We have some buttons. Yep, 2 buttons. And with this area below, I'm just gonna use an image because I ain't got time for all that. We just want to basically show that we can interact with a tab system. Cool. Okay, I think I'm going to dig into a bit of styling now, just because otherwise it's going to be confusing what we're gonna do. So if I make that Pinegrow, no, section header, that's what we want. So if we give this class a section header, wherever it is. Oh, I think it's because it's position absolute. So I'm going to make this into a section because we need to reuse this. There you go. Probably need to wrap that as well. Now, I haven't used clearfix in a long time, but if I remember rightly, clear. Oh, that's floating, isn't it? Not absolute. Yep, we'll just have to use margin. Okay, let's sort out these. Let's give this an ID. Check everything's cool there. Okay, tabs. Let's work from the bottom. So if I think that needs to be in a paragraph, or maybe a span, so that the flex will work. Although having said that, tabs, button, image. Actually, we want this to be, what is it, 100 pixels, something like that. Yeah. It's still not stacking. Let's try and put this in a div. Of course, idiot. We need to flexbox. We don't need flexbox at all, actually, because that's what it should do. Although, yeah. So, what if I do text line center? No. There you go. Let's start getting rid of some of these button properties. So background. And border. Border is none. And that's about it. Let's start adding these tabs. Button. Oh yeah, we need to add a div around these. Cool. Why are we getting that? Let's get these spaced out. Cool. This will have a border as well. Border bottom. It's really hard to show basically what I'm doing, so I'll have to. Oh yeah, this will be edited down to a more concise version if this one stays up live. But I'll try and show the design that we're trying to replicate because it's off on another screen. So tabs button. We want border bottom. I don't know. Let's try 4 pixels. It's a bit too much. Let's try 2. And then probably make that a little bit lighter. Cool. So now we have something that's looking pretty good. Let's deal with this text. Text line center, font size 16. Looks a bit big for my liking. 16 pixels. I'm getting these values directly from their website, by the way. Why is that so big? Let's keep going, see what's going on. It's even bigger than normal text. Size 16. There's buttons. I think we need the border on this. Oh, we do. Great. I've got a colour here. We have no idea why that's doing that. So I kind of want these buttons to stretch out all the way. So let's fix that, because it gives it more of it gives sort of having more surface area to click just makes it a bit easier and a bit more user friendly, I think. So how do we stretch space start center? Maybe we need to have these grow. There we go. And there's central then. Now this will probably have an active class. So let's create that and then change the button, the border color to blue. I think we have it saved actually. Doesn't like it. Let's do it manually. Is that coming through? Ah. We want that on the button. Cool, we have that. We have that. Now let's create this. We've got our plugs. We should probably have a max width on this tab system because it looks a bit narrower than the content. 1200. Max width 1200 pixels. And then we want auto. Cool. Looking good. Let's put a margin top there. Why are you coming down with me? I didn't expect that to come down. So this is possibly, yeah, that's to do with margin collapsing, which I can't be bothered to go into right now, but essentially, there we go, essentially stacking divs, whatever's the greatest of the two margins, it takes that or something, I'm not too sure, but it's a bit of a complex subject, but an interesting one. Cool, I think that looks pretty good to me, except that size of that font. just don't know why that's not like that. Never mind. Oh, we need a padding on the bottom. New pixels. Let's go 1 EM. Looks good to me. Now let's create this body area. So this is definitely going to be display flex because we've got a grid system going on. And these are let's try see if we can work with this. So is that 50-50? Kind of looks like it. All right, cool. Let's keep cracking. Probably want to update that name. I don't think we're going to be using any more grid systems in this project anyway, so I think that's fine to do that. Cool. Now let's get cracking on this bit. I think this is the 999 font size. Cool, looks good. Right. Looks good. Now we're going to make these things here, the radio buttons, and these can get pretty tricky, but can be quite fun to do. So let's. Normally, it's the input is actually hidden, and that we actually select the label, and the label is doing all the work. So I tend to prefer to do these in code rather than anything else because we need to add a few elements here. So the 4 needs to reflect the ID. Now, if I remember in my previous build, this gets pretty confusing. So let's go 511 blue. Let's try that, and then this needs to match up with the ID. 11 blue. Name equals 511 blue. These, I mean, it's just coincidence that these are. In fact, the name needs to be all the same for them to match up, and then the value of this one is blue. Let's try that. I think I nicked the SR only. I think I just nicked this to hide the label. Oof, come on. I think there's a Stack Overflow article that I always... Microsoft Bing is so rubbish. Let's try that. Here it is. There we go. Now we'll use that to hide the input. Let's see if we can do it from here now. Probably need blue. Because actually you can't, I don't think you can style radio buttons. That's why we just hide it and do it with a label. So let's keep going, see how we get on. Where's our border radius? Here we go. And then go 1 pixel all the way around. Give it a width and a height. Why can't I see the border? Oh, that's odd. Oh. There you go, width and height. Not seeing that. Why can't we see the width and the height? Let's double check on here now. Display block. There we go. Display. Cool. Let's try. Probably need to be a bit bigger than that. Let's try 30. Cool. Right, now we need to create the inner thing here. In fact, we want to set the non-active color. Oh look, they've just used images. Lazy. AAA. Cool. So what we'll probably have to do is do it in here and use the before element. So with the before element, you always have to do a content for that to exist. And then we'll go width, we'll do 25, height 25, background color. I mean, let's start there, but I kind of want to let me check that. Here we go. Cool. Let's see what padding does. Doesn't really do anything, does it? We want to make sure this is kind of central. So let's see what the margin does. It does that. Looks kind of good. Let's make the size of this a bit smaller. No. So why is that not perfectly central? Oh, is that padding maybe? No, there's no padding on there. You can see it's slightly more on the right hand side. What happens if definitely not that. It's because of the border, I think. So we are 1 pixel, or have big the borders, we're 1 pixel to the left. So we kind of need a padding of 1 pixel. Padding left of 1 pixel, that looks better. Here we go, that looks good. A bit more at the top. Just to make it even. Okay, that'll do. Looks good. Let's have a quick comparison against it. So obviously the colour needs to be different, but they are using, let's see. That looks cool. Let's do that. So that's our base kind of style and colour. Now we need to make alternatives. Let's tabs form radios. Just anticipating right now. It was interesting when I spoke to Bob Means at Pinegrow around kind of when I first used it in my kind of responses and stuff like that. One thing I was saying about it is it seems weird to offer a user interface that if you're not using display flex, why should you see kind of flex container properties on there, and his answer was that he want to, everyone has their own way of building websites, and they want to give kind of ultimate flexibility. I kind of really understand that now, because sometimes you do just want to nip in and change. You want to preemptively change the flex child before you go and make the parent flex, as an example. So I really appreciate that flexibility now, which is something I didn't see when I first started using Pinegrow. So kudos there, kudos. So let's give this a class of tabs, form radio wrap, and just give this a cool. So let's do a funky bit of CSS now. So if we go to the tabs radio, so we want to put this input on top, because as a quick and dirty version, if we go input is selected, something like that, or checked, then we want the next label, we want the border color to be black. That's why we use our variables, color black. So if it's selected, I'm not seeing it right now, so if it's selected, let's just Google it, input selected CSS. Radio selected. So they do checked, so it's checked, not radio. Kudos if you can see what we're doing here. And if we make this not seeing it, maybe it's selected. Is that it? Let's use Pinegrow for this. Actually, to be fair, I don't think we haven't given it a type radio, so type equals radio. Checked. There we go. So you can see that now that's black. Blue, silver, black, purple. Cool. Now let's make these colors. Tabs, radio. Was it purple? Silver. Tabs, radio. Silver. Now, if you're not familiar with Sass, this and sort of duplicates the previous whatever's declared above. So even though we've got two classes on here, it will still take this set of rules but also this set of rules. So what we've got to do is before and override the background color. So let's just do that for now, and then use our little color picker here to pick out a nice grey or silver. Do black. And we can do black here then. Cool. And then the final one is purple. Actually, let's leave it as that and then pick our color. Gosh. I'm eyeballing these colors, I have no idea. Oh, we need to. That'll do. A bit more paler, but you get the idea. I think, I mean, we have these to do. Hopefully you didn't hear that. I was blowing my nose. So I think we're in a, even though we haven't done a few of the other things, I think just to keep this interesting, we can work out a bit of the JavaScript now on how we're going to make this tab system work. So with that being said, let's first of all create duplicates of the form body, or the tab's body, okay? So we need 3 of these. And the way I tend to approach something like this is I use IDs a lot, because IDs you should only have 1 on the page, and it kind of forces you to, I don't know, I think IDs just tend to work well when we're trying to do something. So how I do these is that these will have an attribute on them that tells that will relate to the body of content that it needs to show, and that body of content will have an ID on it. So let's take this for example, this 511, 521 and 511. Oh, we have a duplicate there, so we might just sort that out, but maybe 511 Pro as an example. This body will have an ID of 511 Pro, and then this will have like an attribute on it that says data target 511 Pro. So when you select that, you would do something like get element by ID, and then get its data target attribute, and then just show and hide. So when you click on a new, when you click on a new button, you hide all of the bodies and then only show the one that gets clicked. So with every single click of those buttons, you hide all of the bodies. Now, one thing that's kind of got lost and misunderstood really, and a bit lost with modern web development, a lot of developers actually just go for they want to respond to the click of the button, and there's a lot of people who don't understand the idea of bubbling, and that's when the event that so if you click on an element, that event will actually bubble all the way up the DOM until it gets to the window. So you could actually add an event listener a click event listener to the window, and then do logic within that to say, well, what was clicked. So that's another way, because we want we have an encapsulating div that wraps the whole tab system, because we want to sort of like a holistic view looking down. I think that makes sense. Kind of looking down at the both the body and the buttons. It makes sense that you listen at that high level to say, okay, this button was clicked, I want to show this body, rather than kind of any way around like that. I guess we're using IDs, so it really doesn't matter that it's kind of looking up, but maybe it will just be a good excuse to demonstrate bubbling, because then it kind of can't hurt, and then we're being very specific about stuff then, rather than just always looking on the page or whatever. So let's go for the bubble route. It might not be the best use case for it, because we're using IDs, because IDs are very efficient in JavaScript, because should be only one of them on the page. So as soon as it finds it, it hasn't got to keep looking. Whereas a class, you might have 20 million classes on the class of one on the page, so then it's got to keep looking. Even though it's found one, it's got to keep looking. So let's see how we get on. Right, first of all, I want to add some IDs to these bodies, so let's do that. There's a body, there's a body, and here's a body. So let's just do that. ID of 511 Pro. This one can have 521 Pro, and this can have ID of 521 Nano. Cool. Now let's just get a few, because we've got all three here, so let's get a few things out of the way. Let's first of all hide all of the tabs that aren't selected. So there's the buttons, there's the body. Cool. So tabs body, display, none. Now, if we have, what we want to do is use an active class to actually show and hide those things. So if in this first one I have the class of active, I think we might actually, that might actually be okay. Oh yeah, we need to display block. Oh no, it was flex, wasn't it? Cool. So we've only got one showing now, and that's with the active class. Now what's going on there? Oh, that could be because this active class is being used elsewhere. So what I need to do is go here, tabs body active, and this needs to be tabs button active. Cool. So there we have that. Let's get writing some JavaScript now. Main.js. So const tabs dot get element. So we could do an ID. This is a bad ID actually, because we might have multiple on the page. Now this is overkill for this project, but we could have multiple tabs on the page. So we wouldn't want to use the ID of tabs there. But what I like to do with kind of interactive modules is I do data module or something like this, like a data tag, and then put tabs. And then this will decide what kind of functionality we apply to this whenever it finds data module tabs. So query selector all, and we want to data module equals tabs. So if I console.log tabs. And we've got one here, which is cool. And this will be many, so if there was many, so we need to convert that to an array. If we convert that to an array, then we can now loop through each instance of these modules, which we'll want to do if there are multiple instances. So again, for safekeepings, if we go if tabs does not equal null, so if it exists, then we want to loop through them all. So for each tab mod, let's do mod index. So now we've got access to the current tab. So let's go const current tabs equal mod. I mean, we could just actually current this. Let's just do that, make it a bit more readable from the get-go. So we've got access now to our current tab system. We want to current tabs dot add event listener. We want to add the click event to the tab, so we're having that bubble up. Even though we haven't bound the click event to the button, we've bound it to the wrapping tab system. So if we just demonstrate what we have here, and console log e, I don't know what that true is, but you do you, mate, you do you. So console log e. So we got pointer event. So we've got access to the clicked, we're listening for that click, and now we've got actual targets that we can make sure that that's what we clicked. Now, I want to. So the thing is, because we've got spans in there and all the rest of it. So target is a strong. We want to make sure we're listening to the right. We want to make sure we're listening to the button basically. And now I need to kind of figure out how. Oh, we've got a button. I wonder if that does anything. That's new. No, we don't. We want to make sure that we're not clicking any of those things. I guess we could search through the parent. It does feel like a long, convoluted way, and this wouldn't be the most ideal situation where you would do the bubbling, but we'll stick with it, and we'll. JavaScript actually lets you kind of scope the. What's current target actually? Current target is null. Pointer event mouse. Yeah. Let's go with it. We're just gonna look at all our parents and see if any of them are a button, right? And then, if it is, then we register the click. So, const current clicked element equals e dot target. I think JavaScript has a parents JavaScript. Let's see what parent does. I don't want this parent. jQuery has it. Parent element. We could just build a recursive function. Because we've got parent elements. So let's just try that. Um, console log. This is just for fun now. Sorry, it's taking a while, but this is just having a bit of fun. So let's just see if that parent element works. Parent element is not defined. Which is a button. And then if we go strong, which is the div. So let's make a new function called parent. And we take two parameters. Let's take the L and then selector. Parents. So we've got clicked element. So we send the clicked element in, and we want to see if it's a button. Yeah, I think. So let's do that, and then let's just see what we get in here. Go L, selector. Well, actually, no, we know what we're going to get there. So when we go dot, what do they use? Node name. Let's give that a whirl. Okay. So if the parent element dot node name to lowercase equals selector. Now this is very hard coded now. Like there's no room for error in this one. So, but like I say, it's a bit of fun anyway. So if the element we pass in parent is, I suppose we want to, yeah, we'll keep going, but we also want to check if, let's do it. We want to check if the element we passed is the selector. So L dot node name to lowercase equals selector. Yeah, that makes sense. Return else pass the parent. So parents and then selector. So this is like a recursive function. So it kind of keeps going around until we get to that. Probably not the most efficient way to do it, because it will just keep looping until it finds it, unless it's the window. So if L.node name equals window, return false. So it's just a catch-all. Let's see what happens. Let's go in and just see what element's being passed. L.node name. I'm probably going to break something now. So that's the L. What's that image? That's okay, yeah, so that's the node name, and so it doesn't equal window if the node name to lowercase equals selector properties undefined. to lowercase. That's odd. To lowercase absolutely works. I spelled something wrong there. So that's working. Can I probabilities of undefined reading to lowercase? So let's what's parent element? Oh, that's why. Node before initialization. Fine. Cool, that looks like something happened. Nothing's breaking. Let's do let's just do this. Undefined. Undefined. So strong div button. Okay. Hello. So it does definitely stop. Let's just return L. What can't I see there? What can't I see there? L that no is so it. I'm going to give it 2 more minutes and then we're going to go just the boring route. If you just joined, we were talking about bubbling and how capturing events higher up can allow a bit more flexibility when it comes to, reusable components, and not binding clicks to every single element. So, later on, we've got a set of radios here. We want to be able to just listen to a change event above them all rather than a change event on each individual radio button. So that's an example there. That might be a better solution to go with than this specific example, but I'll give it 2 more minutes. and if it's still not working, then we will just go the traditional route. So, and let's just do that. So why aren't we returning? Oh, I know. It's because we need to. Yeah. It's because we're balls deep basically in another function. So, do we return this function or something? Let's try this. Let's try this. So, then we need to call that function or something. Oh yeah, I remember something like this. Yeah. The easiest thing to do would just be to Google parents JavaScript function, but let's save the fancy version for another day. So if we go then to within each of the tabs, we go to current tabs dot query selector all, and then we go, well, we just want the buttons really for now. I don't think there's any other, oh, there are other buttons. Let's go tabs button, and let's just log out. Oh, tab buttons. So we've got them, which is cool. Tab buttons dot add event listener. We want to click. And we've got current target, so we need to add some. We added IDs to each of the bodies that they relate to, so we need to add an HTML attribute that relates to that. So in this case, our button needs a data target of that one. This one will need a data target of the next one, and this one will need a data target of the next one. Just so we know, 521. Just so we know that things are swapping around. Let's do that. And then this one is 521 Nano Pro. Cool. So let's get back to it. So we're clicking the button and we need to find the target. So const target equals e.current target dot get attribute data target, and this will be the ID that we fire to give it an active class. So first of all, we go tabs dot query select all active. So actually this will collect the button and the body. We go for each active L dot class list dot remove the active class. and then we tabs dot get element by ID. We get the target, which is just a string, so we need to do this. We get that element and we class list dot add. We give it an active class, and then the button itself, which let's do this because I like using this, and we can even use this here. If we use the fat function, it would using this will kind of bubble up to the window, but we're encapsulating it here, so that way we don't need that. And then we go this dot class list dot add active. Right, that was a lot of code written without testing a single one. Let's have some fun. So tab buttons dot add event. There's a lot of function. We need to go to or for each. Hang on. No, that's not right. So tabs. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So if we tabs button, we need to go through each of these. So tabs buttons dot for each. I always write for each. Button. Button add event listener click. So let's add this function here. So click handler function. I think I've got a phone call. That looks good. Let's see what happens here. The tabs.query selector rule is not a function. Tabs. Here's tabs.query selector rule. I've rushed this, haven't I? Tabs.query selector rule is not a function. So we have tabs, but tabs is, because I've named it poorly. Tabs is, let's just do it the normal way first. There's just a lot of redefining of stuff that we don't need right now. A lot of redefining. So let's just keep going here. Tabs.query selector rule is not a function. So tabs.query selector or it is current tab. Maybe we do current tab. Current tabs. Current tab got element by ID is not a function. Bloody well it is. Get element by ID. Let's have a look. Current tabs. See what's going on. So we have that. That's it. So that's fine. Get element by ID is totally a function. Let's go to It's not a function. Maybe just go... because... It's because ID will just... It's so... I don't know why how to explain that, but it's because get element by ID is... There's only one on the page, so you can just run it on document. So what's that error now? So null. Let's just double check that's exactly what we think it is. What's target? Okay. Document dot get element by ID. Target null. So then that must mean we've not named them correctly. ID 55 Pro. Oh, no, I know why. It's because you don't need the hash, because it knows it's looking for an ID. Okay, something's happening now. Yeah, there we go. So now we need to... Oh, we are removing the active. So current tabs, query selector or active class. Cool. There we go, we got a tab system working. Bit hairy for a moment there, but we've got it working. Not that much code, to be fair. I'm sure there's more we can do to it. And we're being a bit overly safe right now. This current tabs. You know, we could probably reuse this function a bit, but it's all good. Why is that jumping? What's causing that to jump? Is there a padding only on the active class? Padding bottom 1 EM, yeah. Padding active. Cool. What to do now, because we've got these, which is cool. I guess we want to be able to switch out the colors now. So swapping out depending on which tab thing we're in, swapping out those colors. So just looking how we've done it in the past. I think we just wing it again. Right. Let's go back to our reference. So they've got blue, silver, black, purple, which we did before. Now let's change these. The first one is fine. Yep. Now this one we have silver, black, purple, blue. Silver. Black. Purple. I have a feeling silver, black, purple, so we need a silver class, which I thought we did have, to be honest. So the default is blue. So silver, and then we can just do that. And silver, black, purple, blue, and then silver, white, black, purple, green. So here we go. So there is no blue. So let's go. What? Oh. Hate the undo on Pinegrow. Please sort it out. Oh, what's happened now? White. Tabs radio white. Black. Purple. And green. Right, so we don't have a white, I don't think. Or a green. That'll probably do. Yeah, why not? Cool. We have our different versions. Now, this one. Huh. Oh, maybe the order isn't correct. Input, input, input is above. Huh. Purple, value, black, white. It's probably something that's not cool. Oh, I know why. So if I click that, it's probably, yeah. If I click black one, yeah, okay. I need to quickly run through these then and just quickly change the names. So these are 511. These are 521. And then these are 521 nano. So they all need different names. Cool. 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 Nice. Right. Let's do some JavaScript then. So I think we can still use inside the tab system. We've got the tabs. We've got 4 each. We kind of want to do tabs dot query selector all. We will kind of want to get all the bodies. Now, we want to get all the bodies because then we want to just scope. I think we can get away with the ID thing again, you know. ID. So the value. Yeah, because the names. It's just because the names. We might need to have the values. 521 silver. 521 black. We might need that. This way we can get we can add IDs to the images and have the images swap out. Cool. One more. No, where is it? 521, 521, 511. Cool. So we haven't got all the images in, but I'll do that in a second. So let's make sure we've got them. Tabs body. Body equals that. And we go array from. We want to loop through all these. Is that for arch? For each body, and then body.add event listener. We want to listen for the change event, and then let's see if we can do this. So console.log. Yeah. So radio buttons will only radio buttons will fire the change event. So we can rest assured that this should be the value of whatever we've changed, whatever's changed to. Tabs.crew selector all. Tabs.crew selector all. Tabs.crew selector all. Let's do get element by class. What is it? Name with a capital N. Let's see. Go here. Actually, tabs for each. Okay, no worries. What's happened here is that we need to put this inside of the tabs. So we've got the tabs buttons. Now within each of them, we want to loop through these. So current tab.